BlazeBodyz! What's going down? Everyone, what's up? Listen, recently, I started getting into the show Survivor. I know you've heard of it. It's been around for literally over 20 years. I started getting into that show about, I would say, 12 years ago. And I've stayed relatively consistent with it up until this current day. But recently, out of curiosity, I decided to go way back, season 1, and binge it right back to now. So, I'm up to season 11 currently. And I've learned quite a bit. But this is what I want to talk about today. We're living real life Survivor at this moment. Look at the comparisons. Now, back when the show first started, it was literally hardcore. It was literally getting a multitude of people, usually around 18 or so people, let's just say a mass amount of people, who pretty much have never endured any sort of hardship, at least that I know of, and literally had them literally jump off a boat and swim to shore with nothing but the clothes on their back, no water, no food, nothing, to a designated, isolated area of the world, and have to live and survive with nothing. No given water. They had to live on bugs or what, literally to survive. No means of making a fire. No food at all. Nothing. They had to live with what they had. Isolated in the middle of nowhere with people they don't even know, and then had to somehow, over time, over the span of, if you've watched the show, you know it's 39 days, which is pretty much what we've been experiencing the last 8 weeks. We've been living in this craziness that we're living in. So, and then along the way, they had to not get kicked off, they had to make alliances. Let's compare that to us having to depend on our state and government to help us in some way, whether it be financial or with food or whatever. And one by one gets, through process of elimination, gets booted off. And then it all ends up slowly but surely, 39 days later, they make it to the end and one person wins the whole show, as you know. But it's kind of like what we're dealing with now. We're literally trying to survive on a daily basis in isolation. We can't even see our loved ones. My dad, he's 89. I'm not going to go see him. I'm not going to put him at risk. You know, whatever my particular opinions on this whole situation we're in are, regardless, I still would not take a chance and put my dad at risk, or my sister, or my family for that matter. But so I'm in isolation and limited to what I can do and where I can go. In comparison, say, the show Survivor, where they occasionally had protein sources or not, whether they had to go fish or kill a wild animal or eat bugs, the availability of protein was scarce, like it is now. And then you have to make alliances or connections, if you will, with people you pretty much can or cannot trust. Our particular people that we depend on in our government and state and federal. We don't know if we can trust them. We don't know what to believe, what's bullshit, what's real. And we've endured this now for 7 to 8 weeks so far, and we're waiting on word of when the show ends, if you will, like Survivor. So it's a game of survival. It's a game of survival. Now, as you know, I spent several or more years in the military, and I had to live sometimes for I vividly remember going 3 weeks one time out in the middle of nowhere in awful weather conditions, literally sleeping underneath trucks or shelter if we can find it, with a limited amount of food that they would give us. We used the military rations, but we had that availability, but we were dependent on it to survive. But that was nothing like the game of that show Survivor, and it certainly is somewhat comparable to what we're living now. So we're living every day. We're living Survivor. The only difference is we don't have Jeff Probst telling us that the tribe has spoken. It's a shit show. So I guess the moral of today's message is, you're gonna get up every day, and you gotta survive. You got to do whatever is necessary to keep your brain positive and strong, your body healthy and strong. And that includes doing things that listen, let's be honest, people are just losing it. If you don't get up, like I said in the last video, if you don't get up and do something physically every day, it doesn't have to be, like I said in the last video, the gyms are closed, we're limited, we can't do anything. If you don't get up and do something physically and push yourself for at least 20 to 30 minutes every day, your brain is going to start to deteriorate. You need your brain to be strong, and you need your body to work to be strong. You need to fight. Fight as hard as you can to keep things going in hopes of this light at the end of the tunnel, or whatever it is we're dealing with. So wake up every day like you're on a deserted island, and you don't know what you're going to do, but you're going to do whatever you have to live, to survive, to deal with the shit that we're dealing with. All right? So go about it that way. Go about it that way. All right? And if you ever get the chance, watch that show. It's awesome. It's awesome. I think, honestly, the ones in the very beginning up until about season 11 now were way, way more hardcore. Things get crazier as you get, because it's 40 seasons. So things obviously get crazy up until current day. But back in the beginning, holy crap, that was crazy. All right, I gotta go. Hope you're all surviving. Get to it. The tribe has spoken. See y'all soon.